Now, the third expression of Libra is light-heartedness. And we begin at Libra 11 with the idea that light can be radiated. And the professor, looking over his eyeglasses, he's a teacher. And there's a subject, there's a topic, and we all hang on that topic, our sense of the teaching and learning development of self. And yet, if the professor does not have a certain atmosphere of being, he's not the best. What we love about our teachers is that they inspire us, they raise the light in us. And it is understood in Libra 11 that this whole functionality of teaching is not actually so much about the topic, the training in the student either, but also it's very much to do with the radiance of light, the raising of light. And I have this kind of idea about teaching. I've got a lot of experience of teaching groups, and I had to learn that it's not all about teaching. There are three functions of teaching. There's the entertainer first. You have to get people to want to listen to you, and they won't unless you can entertain them. And then you teach what they came for, and they think that that's why they came. But in fact, the higher level, and this applies to anything, perhaps even motor mechanics and something like that, you get to a point where you're passing wisdom, you're passing light. And this is almost like a priestly function. So I think we begin with Libra 1 in understanding the real role of a teacher is to raise light. Now in Libra 12 we get to the other principle where the miners are going down, delving deep into the earth, and they're discovering hidden things in the earth. Very often gold and diamonds and precious things are hidden away deep below the surface. Now, by metaphor, we can see that that's also true within ourselves. When we delve deep down into the unconscious realms of our being and we go through our stuff, we see that there's this dark, shadowy aspect to our personality. And yet when we bring it into the light of consciousness, when we understand how it got there, what it is, what it's for, how it can be a resource to our great benefit, then we bring that into the light. So the miner's job is to face the darkness, to have the courage to go and delve and come up with something that's precious, that was otherwise buried. So Libra 12's all about that one. Libra 13, on the other hand, is very light-hearted indeed. And this is where we come to the essence of this expression, the reconciliation of on the one hand, someone telling you of wisdom, and on the other hand, going and finding out for yourself by delving deep. These two are reconciled in the soap bubbles image of children where they're just playing. They're just having a good time. And yet, you think about what a soap bubble is. It's an amazing thing. Water floats in the air. And we can make it happen, and it's profoundly beautiful, and it's exciting, and it's very light-hearted. And there is wisdom in this. The wisdom not only of the surface tension of water and the enclosing air, which is lighter, and you know, there's a wisdom there if you want to look into it seriously, but you don't, because it's so obviously wonderful to do. And the children teach us that to understand wisdom, to understand the meaning of life without being light-hearted, is not to understand it. Food for thought, that one. So Libra 14, the noon siesta. Sometimes we just have to let go of it all. However ardently we pursue our ambitions, or we delve into the mysteries, or we achieve results, however ardently we are doing that, there's a need for us to take time off. And that's not a health requirement. That's a degree of wisdom. Downtime is not resting until we can get going again only. It is that. It's a necessary condition of work that we rest. But it's not a sufficient explanation of why we take time off. It's because the mind, that which creates everything, all of our perceptions and all of our experiences, that functions on this kind of balanced way that Libra loves. First this, then that, until you get it right. So the mind works on that principle as well. It focuses, it gives its attention and concentrates on something. That's one part of its operation. But the other part is not to do that. It's just not to think about anything, to let go and to have a sleep, a noon siesta in the middle of the day when we should be working. We take time off, and actually the mind functions better in the long term if we give it time off. Now, sleeping is not the only way to do that. Play, light-heartedness, is one way of doing it. Playing music or going to the theatre or playing sport or whatever. The mind is freed up from its concentrated approach. And some of our best ideas, in fact, practically all of them, I would think, come in that downtime when you're having a shower and singing and oh yeah, I think I'll do that. And you got to rush out of the shower wet and write down your idea before you forget it. Something like that. So taking time off, Libra 14, have a rest sometimes. And then we get to the mystery of the rhythm of life, circular paths. We always get a chance to revisit, not exactly the details of what has gone before, never that, but we always get to revisit the energy that we're dealing with, because life is cyclical. There's this circular path. Now, it doesn't have to be a circle as such, because the circle would just be a repetition, but there's another dimension to this where it's an unfolding as well. There's a spiraling action. And that's how life is. We have our seasons, but no spring is exactly the same as the previous one on any level. Not even the same plants return, not always. Certainly not the same feelings and not at the same time. Things generally happen in spring and generally happen in summer, but not specifically. So this is the whole thing, that there is a circular aspect to life, but there's also an uncertainty about the accuracy of that circle. And there's this development sense in which the circle is widening into a spiral. And so we see that the understanding we have here is that, yeah, we have to learn, and sometimes we have to go deep, deep down to learn what we're reluctant to learn. But actually being playful and taking some time off brings us to the mystery of cycles. And if we haven't understood that mystery, then we haven't understood the mystery, because there's always two sides to a mystery, and they're cyclical. They kind of vibrate between each other, and that's what the yin-yang symbol represents.